Hello everyone, I hope you and your loved ones are all safe and well. Equally, I hope, like me, you're all enjoying the weekend sun safely. Since my last report, last week, our staff have continued to deliver a service to those in the hubs, those requiring free school meals, those shielding. There were over 1,200 parcels delivered this week. What a fantastic achievement. And of course, our guidance teams have been supporting families at home. Our IT team have been supporting getting kids online and into lessons, and our teachers have delivered an ever increasing number of online lessons. The significant and long awaited event of the week was the government's detailed guide to local authorities and schools. I've attached the link in the letter that parents will receive. However, I thought you would appreciate another wee video, this time answering the frequently asked questions that the government has received, but with a wee bit more local detail. It's important to note, although we've been planning for a significant change to our delivery, this more detailed instruction only arrived on Thursday, and we'll need time to fine-tune our plans alongside the local authority and our community partners. But to answer this first batch of frequently asked questions, the Scottish Government is planning to reopen all schools across the country on the 11th of August, if the science indicates that it's safe to do so. Nursery settings will only open when it's safe to do so. For the children who normally attend early learning centres, nurseries, childminders and full outdoor settings, they'll be permitted to reopen for some children on 3rd of June. And this is because these services are included in Phase 1 of the Scottish Government's route map. It's hoped that other settings will be able to open over the summer, depending on when the public health advice says it's safe for us to move into Phase 2 and Phase 3. The decisions on when schools in Scotland should return are based on the scientific advice on the spread of coronavirus and what is best for children in Scotland. This advice may be different in other parts of the UK, and because of this, schools may open at different times, and we can clearly see that happening now in the difference in opening times between Scotland and England. The main priority for us will be to look after our children's safety and well-being, and to ensure that they can continue to learn and make good progress. We'll be putting measures in place to make sure that the staff and the pupils are safe and can stay a safe distance away from each other. The decision to reopen schools will be based on scientific evidence. This suggests that the virus is sufficiently under control to start the planning for reopening, and that by putting measures in place to keep children and staff a safe distance from each other, and making sure that everyone's kept clean and hygienic, children will be able to return safely. Schools will be a safe environment. Staff in schools and nurseries will not generally need to use PPE unless they would normally need to, for example in a chemistry lesson, even if they're not always able to maintain a distance of 2 metres from the others. PPE is only needed in a very small set of circumstances. This might include where the care of children already involves the use of PPE, in which case schools will continue to make this available to staff. We are currently working with our transport providers, and we'll be in touch to let you know the safest way for your child to get to school. Of course, for those who can, walking and cycling, keeping a safe distance from others, is the safest way for those to travel to the school. Physical distancing simply isn't desirable or appropriate when caring for younger children, either practically or in terms of child development. Instead, nursery settings will be introducing other measures to ensure the safety and the well-being of staff and their children. For example, caring for children in small discrete groups and making more use of the outdoor space we have available. There's still a need for adults to physically distance, including staff and parents and carers. We will have new arrangements put in place for drop-off and pick-up times to help parents and carers physically distance too. These measures will be based on public health advice and the experiences of nursery settings that are currently open to provide critical childcare. No, if you or anyone else in your household develops symptoms of coronavirus, such as a high temperature or a new and continuous cough, or a loss of or change in smell and taste, that person must stay at home for 7 days. And in addition, everyone else in the household must stay at home for 14 days. You can find all the information about what you need to do in the NHS Inform website. If your child is currently using critical childcare provision, this will continue over the summer holidays. Our local authority will share more information about such arrangements. Wider childcare provision will only reopen when it's safe. The Scottish Government will be adding more information for parents and carers before settings reopen. Existing childcare provisions for key workers' children will continue throughout May, June and July. Childcare provision will reopen when it's safe to do so. The Scottish Government is asking employers to be flexible with employees who are currently unable to return to work, working from home or are working under different arrangements due to their childcare commitments. In order to keep everyone safe, schools will be making some changes to the way they're run. These changes are being made to ensure that all staff and pupils can stay a safe distance apart from each other and do not come into contact with too many people, while supporting the health and well-being of the children and the young people in our care. The main change will be that fewer pupils will be in school at any one time. This means that pupils will take it in turns to go to school for a few days, or a week in and a week out, and then when they're not in school they'll learn from home using the Google Classroom that we've already established. We are currently working on the new timetables to allow this to happen, and they'll be ready in time for next week. So, when pupils are not in school, we'll continue to deliver the learning opportunities just in the same way as we do just now. We'll make more use of Google Classroom, more use of Google Meet, and everything will be accessed through the safe government education portal called Glow. Other changes might include making changes to how or where the pupils are dropped off and picked up, changing how people move about the building, changing seating arrangements so pupils are well spaced out, ensuring everyone washes their hands regularly, and we'll be teaching in smaller groups obviously. We'll have staggered lunch and break times. The cleaning will be more frequent, and we'll be holding more lessons outside whenever the weather's like this. All our staff will be doing everything they can to help the pupils adjust to the situation, which will seem very strange at first. The first few days after the schools open is likely to be focused on welcoming pupils back and getting used to the new setup rather than lots of new learning. We are currently reviewing the availability of our teaching staff, and we're making plans to ensure that all the pupils are able to learn effectively and make good progress whether they're in the school or they're sitting at home doing their lessons. There will be no extracurricular activities or clubs to begin with, as we focus on the core school day and how we're going to manage that. They will be introduced when it's safe and possible to do so, however. Some of these will be quicker to re-establish than others. Clubs where social distancing can be achieved easily will start quite quickly, we would hope. Parents' evenings will be unlikely to run in a traditional format to begin with. However, using the technology, it's likely that face-to-face meetings will be manageable in some form. Again, these will be developed when we return and we focus on establishing a core provision. Our local authority have a very experienced team of staff looking at ELC nursery settings and are thinking about the best way to support children who are starting a new setting or returning to a familiar setting that looks and feels a bit different. We'll keep you updated on the developments as they're confirmed. No one will have to send their child to a nursery if they don't want to. Learning at home will still be an option. No family of an eligible child will have to pay for their 600 hours of funded ELC, and if you pay for private childcare, that will depend on the arrangements you have with a private provider. Wider childcare provision will only reopen when it's safe. At present, the Scottish Government is asking employers to be flexible with employees who need to stay at home with their children. Any learning at home will be arranged and supported by your child's teachers, and you won't be expected to homeschool your child in the formal sense. You will be expected to support the school in its efforts and to encourage your child whenever possible. Teachers will be available on hand to supporting your child with their learning at home through Google Classroom. We have lots of useful advice and tips about learning at home, and you should use the website and keep abreast of all the updates and the dates for events coming up that are on the school app for parents. Before schools return in August, children that are due to start P1 and S1 are being supported through virtual tours of the school, introductory videos and information to help you and your child with this transition. I'd ask you that you join the transition folder in Google Classroom. All schools will be doing everything they can to support their children when they come back to school, no matter what year they're in. Local authorities and schools are working hard to make sure that the children have a positive transition so that they're ready to start school. However, if you're considering keeping your child in nursery for an extra year, you should speak to your local authority, who can explain the deferral process in your area. Our children, who have missed out on the opportunities to celebrate leaving school, will have the opportunity to do so at a later date. We are thinking about appropriate ways for our children to mark these important changes, and we'll contact you to let you know how these arrangements will be made when it's safe to do so. Talking to your child about how they're feeling about going back to school or the nursery is really important. Many children will be excited about seeing their friends and their teachers. So when you're talking to them about going back, can you please make sure that you emphasise the positive aspects so they start to look forward to it? There's lots of positives that are going to take place after the summer. However, it's understandable that your child may be worried about going back to school or nursery, and after spending so much time with you at home, this might be an issue. So if your child's worried, or if you have any concerns at all about how you or they are going to feel, please contact us and we'll try and support you at this difficult time. Some children, including children with additional support needs, will require more support to return to school or nursery. In that case, we will set up additional opportunities to work with staff both in person and online in the coming weeks and months to come. If your child is shielding, they should continue to learn from home and will be fully supported by their teachers to do so. If you have any concerns about your child returning to school, again, please contact us. If a child lives in a household where someone else is shielding, you should continue to follow the latest government guidance on shielding and then contact us. It's important that children return to school if they can do so safely. And if you have any concerns about your child going back, you should contact us to discuss this. If they need to stay at home, they should continue learning at home using Google Classroom. The Scottish Qualifications Authority, the SQA, is assessing the situation with regard to qualifications and examinations. If the virus gets worse after restrictions have been lifted, schools may need to close again, possibly even at short notice. These decisions will be taken based on the advice from the experts, and we'll make you aware of the specific arrangements when we are informed by the government and or the local authority. Schools will not return to normal until it's safe to do so. At the moment, a date cannot be definitely set. Although there are many questions to come and answers that are dependent on our ongoing planning, I hope you found this wee video somewhat informative and comforting. As always, if you need any help or support at all, please contact your child's guidance teacher in the first instance if you're in Oban, or Mrs Cooney if you're in Tyree. If you're a P7 pupil, please contact either your primary teacher or Mrs Morrison. I look forward to seeing you all soon. Ish. Enjoy the sun.